Dark Souls 3 is a great game. Arguably the best of the trilogy. But what if it stunk? Like really bad. Like so bad that you wanted to complete the game while playing as little of it as possible. Or, at the very least, while killing as few bosses as possible. Here are the rules. All glitches are allowed. No summoning, because you could just get a phantom to kill everything if you really wanted to. And any version of the game is permitted. This run will be on version 1.04. This version has nearly every glitch available to the player, and frankly, makes for the most interesting video. So that's what we're going with. It goes without saying that we'll be skipping all of the DLC and optional bosses, because those are easy to skip. This leaves us with the following bosses that are required to complete a traditional playthrough of the game. Out of these, the main bosses that I think will be sticking points are all of the Lords of Cinder and any boss that physically blocks progression somehow. Something like Wolnir or Vordt with their doors, or the Dancer with a ladder that drops down after placing the base of vows or killing Emma. With that being said though, these are just my thoughts before even starting the run, so let's see how it goes. I'll be honest, Gundyr is a brick wall. The one real skip that's known is on version 1.0. And I know I said any version is allowed, but 1.0 is the only version of the game that is not archived in any way whatsoever on PC. To perform it, you basically just get grabbed by him in his second phase while jammed up against the door, and he'll send you through. Because this is only possible on one specific patch that is completely unavailable to us, we're gonna have to find another way. In Elden Ring, there's a precise trick known as the zip. Basically, you do certain movement and you teleport across the map. You can zip in this game too, though the method is a bit different. To do it, just spam the equip button extremely quickly on a weapon while moving around. Like macro levels quickly. After a while, you'll zip. Every time you do zip though, it kind of hard crashes the game. There is a patch you can apply to the game through Cheat Engine to stop it from crashing, but that strays a bit too far into the realm of cheating. I mean, you literally have to use Cheat Engine. On the Nintendo 64, if the game cartridge you're playing gets tilted ever so slightly, often, the game will freak out. Using this idea of physically interacting with hardware, we can try something a little out of the box. A very long time ago, I recall seeing a video of a Russian player disconnecting their external hard drive, and the game continuing to run through the machine's RAM. They used this to never load most of Gundyr's arena, and basically run through it and past him for free. This kind of falls out of the realm of legitimacy for me, but as far as I know, it's the only way to actually skip Gundyr. Now that we've dealt with him, we can make our way to Firelink, teleport to the high wall, and deal with the next boss, Vordt. Vordt blocks progression by sealing the door that leads to the undead settlement once his fight is triggered. Fortunately, before you trigger his fight, the way out is wide open. So we just need a way to get past the room without starting the fight. Okay, before we do anything, let's go and get the small Lothric banner from Emma. Without the banner, you can't be transported from Vordt's arena to the foot of the high wall bonfire, and consequently won't be able to progress. Oh, also kill her. Now that we've gotten the banner, we can warp back and run down to this ladder. There's a handful of hollows guarding it, but since we're not really strapped for time, we can take care of them so they won't bother us while attempting this next skip. Vordt's skip is quite precise, so it's best to not have to deal with these bum-ass hollows while doing it. Once they're dead, you're probably going to want to switch to keyboard and mouse here. It's possible with controller, but kind of a pain in the ass. Very slowly walk your character to the edge of this plank. This first part is extremely precise. You want to be on the very edge of it, while your foot is also floating a certain distance off to the right. There's not really a lineup for this part, so I kinda just suggest practicing. From the edge, turn your character so your head is like this, kinda under where the plank and the support beam meet. Tap W to turn your character, and start holding your walk key. Walk forward, and shortly before you fall off, start holding A as well. If you did it all correctly, you'll land on this pillar. Keep walking and fall off of it. Spam roll and you should land right here at the bottom of the ladder that leads to the Winged Knight with Death Cam activated. Death Cam changes your controls to tank controls. So this means, while you're holding forward, your character will always walk towards the way they're facing instead of the direction the camera is facing. Continue past the Winged Knight as normal, and head to the right once you exit through the doorway. Drop down one level, then drop another to where the armor is. Roll again and run down the stairs towards Vordt's room. Once you're near the door at the end, hug the right wall, and you should pass Vordt's trigger. Keep running, raise the banner, and you get this pretty cool cutscene. After the cutscene, rest at the bonfire and quit out so you can actually see. Run through this area like normal until you get to the halfway fortress bonfire, making sure to send Irina to Firelink at some point. A normal playthrough usually branches here, either into the Abyss Watchers or the Crystal Sage. Let's do the Crystal Sage first. There is a skip here and it's not particularly difficult either. It just needs some practice. Run into the Crystal Sage's arena, beelining over to the fog wall on the opposite end. Run into this rubble that raises your height a little bit, and jump from it into this crack in the wall. Once you're here, you need to gain some speed running against the door, and then jump up on top of this other pillar, making sure to let go of your analog stick so you don't roll forward, which tends to get you stuck in the wall. Quickly look to your left, roll forward, towards the roots, and you're free. Now that we're what the fuck? Okay, now that we're past the Crystal Sage, you could run through the cathedral towards the deacons. Ah shit, we don't really want to kill those guys, huh? Okay, scratch all that about the Crystal Sage. We don't need that. Just for now, ignore them, and let's head towards the Abyss Watchers into the swamp. Fucking swamp though. Ah shit. Okay, actually, scratch that too. Fuck the poison swamps that pervert Miyazaki can't help but put into his games. Let's just do Farron Skip. Farron Skip is something that skips all of Farron Swamp and the whole puzzle of snuffing out the 3 fires to open the door. The objective of the skip is to reach the other side of this door. Getting through here requires using a setup to enter Death Cam, and from there, running over to this door that is unloaded and has no collision. It is, unfortunately, only really possible on PC, because part of it basically requires a keyboard. Before attempting the skip, make sure you have W and A bound as forward and left respectively, as well as left alt bound to sprint and right alt bound to jump. Head back to this area from the halfway fortress bonfire. Drop down to where the 2 dogs are guarding the Boreal Divine Tome of Kareem, and pick it up while we're here to gain access to Tears of Denial for later. This skip is primarily used in all bosses speedruns, so it uses the base health of the assassin plus an ember as part of the lineup, which can make it kind of a pain in the ass to do on other characters, but fortunately, I haven't leveled any bigger yet. Anyway, kill the 2 dogs down here, and head over to this rock. Line your left foot up with it, leaving a little bit of space in between them. Take 1 or 2 steps forward, and then use your mouse to line up the end of your health bar going into this leaf a little bit. The mouse sensitivity in this game is absurdly high for no reason, so before you take your hand off the mouse, you may want to hit escape so you don't bump the camera. Start sprinting forward with left alt, and just as you step off the ledge, you want to hit your A key and right alt at the same time. The timing can be a little rough, and if you didn't line up correctly, sometimes the death cam won't trigger. Assuming it does activate though, you can run up the hill like normal, drop down and run through the opening into the halfway fortress bonfire. Keep going straight, running a little down the path that leads out from there. Drop down a few times and keep running straight, towards where the door is. There's a little leaf that looks like a dove you can use as an indicator for when to start moving up. Run forward a bit more and quit out. If you did it correctly, you'll spawn on the other side of the door, maybe aggroing the crystal lizard. Just open it up, ignore him, and run to the bonfire before the Abyss Watchers. Unfortunately, the Abyss Watchers are another brick wall. The catacombs, Irithyll, and the rest of the game are locked behind them. You can cheese them, but for one thing, it's one of the few glitches not available on this version, and for another, it's just not the same, man. Fortunately, my glorious king Distortion 2 has a tutorial to skip Wolnir that coincidentally skips over the Abyss Watchers as well. Scratch everything we just did, that previous Farron Keep skip we did, lame as hell. Here's one that's way cooler. Start at the halfway fortress bonfire again, and run backwards to where the Corvians are praying. Get behind this tree here and drop off onto this rock. This puts you in death cam, and we don't want it, so save and quit, and then make sure you heal. Cast Tears of Denial, and walk forward into the rock in front of you until you can't anymore, and then tap W to face this other rock in front of you, and then backstep. If you did it correctly, you should be in Teardrop now. Teardrop is a state the character enters when you should die, but didn't because of the Tears of Denial miracle, something that prevents death, leaving the character at 1 HP. For some reason, this happens with kill planes as well, and you can do all sorts of crazy things with this. From patched this out back in 2017, but with down patching, that shit means nothing to me. Anyway, your character is now represented by this orb. Lower your height against the wall here until you're a little bit under this green splotch. Once you do that, run towards this building for a while. Now that you've arrived, pivot to the forest area to the left. You'll hit a building, so run along it until you find this piece of rubble that you can gain some height on. Now, run to the right of it and clip back in bounds through this wall. Lower your height against the slope above the stairs and rest at the bonfire for swag. And some health. Leave the bonfire, turn around, and head through this window. Run forward towards the Abyss Watchers' arena and run up this slope. Get all the height you can off it, run through the wall to the right, and then head to the left to gain a bit more height on this slope. Run out to the right around this edge and run onto this piece of land that sticks out slightly. Once you're on it, if you wait a sec, you can see the catacombs load in the background. Next, make a wide left turn under this tree and run forward for a while. Lose some height from the slope where the Dark Wraiths stand, and then turn around. Keep moving forward from under this rock and lower your height some more against the slope. Now, we're low enough to start backtracking. Basically just run in this direction for a while. You can use this tower as a rough indicator. You want to take a pretty wide right in front of it. Otherwise, you'll just run into a building like a dumbass. Sometimes, the enemies will load in and make it way easier to get your bearings. If that happens, you can head behind the skeleton guy who flips around and pick up the ashes. Also, the building itself will load in occasionally, which makes it really easy. From the ashes, we're heading towards the light now. There's a few clouds of smoke that you want to run into from the left side. Move around a little until you trigger the catacombs to load. There's a slope that basically coincides with the shaft of light, so you can gain a bunch of height quickly here. Run over to where Wolnir's room is, and stick to the right side. Then, take a quick left across the ceiling to the left side of the room. Keep running forward to the stairs leading out from the Irithyll bonfire, and clip back in through the bottom of them. Gain some height against this wall, float over the railing, and light the bonfire. We're almost done now. We just need to skip the barrier at the end of Irithyll's bridge because we're missing the doll from killing the deacons. Fortunately, we're already in Teardrop, so we don't have to do much more than just run forward for a while. Lighting the bonfire leaves us at the perfect height to save and quit on this roof. From the roof, you can roll down to this building and then roll again to this other building. From here, you can jump down to the shallow lake and run over to the distant manor bonfire. For now, we'll ignore Pontiff. I've got some big plans in the future for him. Run through Irithyll dungeon as normal until just before the mimic with the Estus shard. There's a very easy skip we can do here that saves a bunch of time. All you need to do is drop down on the crenellations and walk to this spot. Cast Spook or equip the cat ring, slowly move your character to the edge, and then roll forward. If you did it correctly, you'll safely land on the ground, skipping most of the area. I figure a lot of people watching know about this, but it does skip a solid portion of the game, so it's worth mentioning. Anyway, continue through the profane capital until you get to Yhorm's Fog. Folks, I gotta be honest. As far as Yhorm is concerned, I got nothing to offer you. There's no real cheese we can do without the Millwood Greybow, unless you count Seaward coming in to help, which, like, come on, and there's no way to skip them. All we can do is use a Storm Ruler, I guess. What a fucking tragedy, man. My own modern day Hamlet. Or something, I don't fucking know. Fucking ruined my mood. Jackass. Let's head back to the Irithyll bonfire. Jump off this rock. We want to land on this tree down here, but it puts you in death cam, so we save and quit to reset that. Cast Tears of Denial, and slowly, very carefully, tap W to walk off this tree. Bang! Too fucking easy. Now that we're back in Teardrop, we have the world at our fingertips. But first things first, let's head over to Pontiff. Start by banking a left and head up the stairs, going through the dark ass room at the top, making sure to roll through their belongings to show you don't respect the establishment. Run up the stairs and head towards this cliff. Run off towards this mountain. Gain some height off it, and at the top, start backtracking. Make your way over towards Pontiff's boss room. When you're near it, bank another left and go through this level normally until you come to the top of this staircase. Take a left and gain some height on this runway leading to the Silver Knight. Make another left and get to the top of this. Run against this roof to gain some more height, and once you're at the top, go around this building and run up this to get a bit more height. Now, you're high enough to make it onto the rotating platform that leads to Anor Londo. Ascend it as normal and rest at the bonfire if you want. We've skipped Pontiff now, so we only have two bosses standing in our path to Lothric Castle. climb the stairs up towards Aldrich. At the top, gain some more height from these stairs leading to the double door, and go right through this archway. Start making your way to Aldrich's boss room and clip into this wall from the right. Gain a bit more height on the stairs before his fog until you're just barely under his arena. Run towards his tail that sticks out, and well folks, another day, another chungus ass, unskippable ass, damn ass boss. We need all of the cinders of the Lord to continue, so all I can offer is this lame ass cheese. Whatever man, it's cool I guess. It's his fucking tail until he dies. Once he's dead, turn around and go back to the stairs. Climb up them and shove yourself in this corner to be teleported away. Normally, this takes you to Emma and you talk to her and she dies or whatever. We killed her in cold blood earlier. So instead, it takes us outside her fog. Fortunately though, we stay in Teardrop. Turn around and go gain some more height from these two sets of stairs. At the top, turn around again and run back towards the dancer's arena. Walk through the wall on the left of the fog, next to the Lothric Knight with red eyes. We're looking for this archway that connects to the upper floor of the boss room. Run straight, and after a few seconds, the model will load in. This officially skips the dancer, so now we can make our way through Lothric Castle. Most of this is just running through the level as normal, until we get to the Dragonslayer Armor's arena. Gain a little bit of height on the stairs leading up to his fog, and you can literally just run around it to the left. Run up the stairs, collect the key, and we've now skipped the Dragonslayer armor as well. We can start making our way through here. You can run through here like normal, or you could be a bad bitch and use Teardrop to skip parts of it. Either way, get to the Twin Princes. Well folks, we can't skip this one. We need to teleport to the kiln to finish the game, and to do so, we need all the Lord's Cinders, including, of course, the Twin Princes. There's a true cheese you can do with the Millwood Greatbow, but you can't obtain that in this version, because the first DLC wasn't out yet, so we're kinda shit out of luck for Phase 1. On top of that, we're standing outside the Twin Princess' room, and only have a +1 weapon to deal with them. You see, we haven't really had to fight any boss yet, so I may have been neglecting the upgrades a little bit. We did pick up the Grave Warden's Ashes while in Teardrop during Wilnir skip, so we can get at least to a +3, and use Karthus Rouge to help us a little bit. So I bashed my head against the wall for a while, and eventually, I got through the first phase. And, if you end the first phase of the fight on this carpet just before the stairs, you can cheese the second half of the fight and all you need is a bow. Well folks, I have some bad news. After defeating the Twin Princes, we've arrived at an impasse. We're missing the Abyss Watcher's Cinders. And we do need those to get to the kiln and finish the game. There is a true cheese you can do here, but it's not possible on this version. At least we skipped them for a little while, I guess. For those brief, shining moments, I was free. I was alive, damn it. Here's the cheese, man, I guess. Who gives a shit? Teleport to the Farron Keep perimeter bonfire, and run to the Abyss Watcher's Fog. While you're running there, equip a longsword. We're going to abuse the fact the fight doesn't trigger until we run a certain distance into the room. Open the door and line yourself up in the left corner. This is another lineup using your health bar, so if it's not the Assassin's Base Vigor and Embered, then tough shit. While walking into the corner, line up the end of your health bar with this rock. Charge an R2 and immediately after start holding W. Wait for your character to recover and then do a normal R2. skip the cutscene and save and quit. Reload and you should be back in the fight. For whatever reason, the skip is only possible on version 1.05 and up, so it's possible I may have tried for 2 hours on patch 1.04 to get this to work. Maybe I watched 4 separate tutorials trying to get it. I mean, I don't know, it's possible. Who's to say? Who's to say? Once you're loaded back in, if you did it correctly, the boss's AI won't work, so you can just wail on them until the second phase where it also just doesn't work. Eventually, they die and you get your Cinders of a Lord. Since this doesn't work on patch 1.04, I'm only really showing this for demonstration. Kill them manually in this save file. We have one more boss between us and glory. Unfortunately though, we do need to kill the Soul of Cinder to trigger any of the game's endings. Not much we can really do about that. But we can do a similar cheese to the Abyss Watchers for him. Run into the arena and once you see him stand up, turn around. Go back to the fog gate and roll into the corner of the right pillar and quit out. It's literally all you need to do. Load back in and the boss's AI won't be active. You can just wail on him till oh shit. Yeah, you can just wail on him till he dies. Well, that's everything. Let's tally it all up. Out of 19 total bosses, 14 are completely skippable on patch 1.04, with an asterisk on Gundyr because I can see why people wouldn't really count him as being actually skippable. On this patch, the only bosses you have to kill to beat the game are the Abyss Watchers, Yhorm, Aldrich, the Twin Princes, and the Soul of Cinder. Literally only the Lords of Cinder and the final boss. That's all I got for you folks. Thank you for watching.